Well, with me now are the writer and author Afua Hirsch and Charlie Brinkhurst, who is deputy editor of Gal-dem, an online magazine written by women of colour. And from New York, the comedian Gina Yashere. Afua Hirsch first. It is extraordinary, isn't it? You've got the royal family, the ultimate symbol of Britain's colonial past, now striking a blow for multicultural, multi-ethnic Britain.
I think it's about time, really. You know, in my lifetime, I felt very much that growing up as a British person, it was very hard to reconcile feeling British, but the royal family supposedly being the most powerful symbol of Britishness, not reflecting my life at all. There was nothing about the royal family I could relate to until this point. And I think the message from successive governments has been that we are a multicultural society. We celebrate being a diverse society. For the family at the apex of our society to be completely undiverse and unintegrated just always seemed completely unsustainable. So I welcome this, and I think it's actually pretty long overdue.
Charlie Brinkhurst, I mean, this is this younger generation of royals dragging the House of Windsor into the modern era, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and I am very happy for both of them, and I think that a lot of my sort of like young black peers are ecstatic right now and sort of making loads of jokes about how like there's going to be royals invited to the cookout and all that kind of stuff. But for me, as a Republican, you know, I am sort of wary of sort of celebrating this diversification like too much. So I think that while we should sort of be happy for them as a couple in general, like it's a great thing, like marriage in general, like
we don't think it's that radical?
Yeah, I don't actually, and I'm not jumping up and down with like sort of glee like a lot of my friends are.
Why?
Just because I think we have to remember that the sort of the system that the royal family sort of underpin is that by accident of birth you are given all of this privilege. And I don't think that's right in sort of the grand scheme of things for sort of black people. I don't think it's right for people who are sort of like working class backgrounds. So yeah, that's why I sort of disagree with that.
Afua Hirsch, what do you make of the reaction in the media, social media?
I think that the narrative around Meghan Markle has changed since she first emerged, and both Charlie and I wrote initially about some of the really, and it was in your package as well, remarkably very thinly veiled racism around her first appearance, saying she was straight out of Compton and she's not your usual society blonde. And it was very representative of what I think is a very British problem, which is that we don't talk directly about race. We allude to it in all kinds of cryptic ways. And actually for her to come out and own her heritage and say that she's proud of being mixed race, that she's proud of having a black mother, it's really important, because one thing that we've done in Britain is tend to sweep race and identity under the carpet and say we don't see race and it will all go away and it's fine. And she's saying actually no, there's nothing taboo about having black heritage. And I think that I hear what Charlie's saying, you know, she's a royal, she's not going to overturn the class system and structural injustice, but the royal family is symbolic, and the symbolism she represents is that heritage is not something to be ashamed of, it's something to celebrate.
Gina Yashere, is there a lot of celebration in America that you've got an American joining the royal family?
Oh, yeah, the Americans love everything royal. I mean, obviously, they're split into the two camps, that people just love a wedding and love all that stuff. And then there's obviously the racist trollery that's happening, because obviously she's black or mixed race or what. But, you know, there's always an undercurrent of racism, but it's more outward in America, not so much in England. In England, they like to use sort of dog whistling terms like exotic. She's not exotic, she's American. Black people have been in America for centuries due to people theft. She's not exotic. She's not from a tribe in the Amazon. She's American. I say that she's the first acknowledged person of colour in the royal family, because I don't know if some people know, but wasn't Queen Charlotte Sophia, Queen Victoria's grandmother, wasn't she supposedly mulatto? I don't know.
She was descended from Portuguese Moors, I believe, but never really acknowledged, as you say.
Exactly.
But what I want to know is
the African, yeah,
Meghan Markle,
the African Portuguese side of the royal family, which was never really acknowledged.
I can see what the Daily Show is going to be like later in the week.
It's a fantastic thing.
You've given us an exclusive preview.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine being trolled horribly on Twitter for this. But, you know, she's the first acknowledged person of colour, and I think that's a wonderful thing. But I don't think it's a massive step forward. It's the royal family stepping into the future, which is awesome, but it's not like he's trying to marry Lupita or Serena Williams. It's very acceptable.
Afua, your reaction to that?
Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting to watch the reaction because people have commented that Meghan Markle doesn't represent the antithesis of European beauty standards. You know, she's the kind of acceptable black. And we've seen lots of that rhetoric recently. Former editor of Vogue, Alexandra Schulman, talking about the perfect mixed race person. You know, and as a mixed race person myself, you fall into this category where you are targeted with the same prejudice and loaded baggage around blackness, but at the same time, you're seen as less black and so more acceptable. And that's another layer that I think needs to be exposed.
Is that the case? Is it a little bit more complicated?
Yeah, definitely. And I think, obviously, we see the sort of fetishization of Meghan Markle and the fact that she's described as being exotic. And, yeah, as you said, Alexandra Schulman's comments.
They might as well have gone back to 80s language and used the word dusky. Do you know what I mean? Why are they using these, you know...
Gina,
it's the undercurrent of subtle racism in the UK where they use these terms that they don't deem as racist, but they are. It's just another way of saying she's black. She's not one of us. She's dusky. She's exotic. She's dark. She's somebody even wrote something about thickening the royal blood with her exotic blood. I mean, come on.
Gina, Meghan Markle's been pretty spiky about Donald Trump. I mean, do you think he'll get an invite to the wedding? How's that going to go?
I absolutely hope not. He doesn't need to be anywhere near that wedding. And they talk about the whole ceremony and the protocol of inviting him, but I think he threw protocol out the window with his racist campaign. So he shouldn't be invited to the wedding, no.
Gina Yashere, Charlie Brinkhurst and Afua Hirsch, thank you very much for joining us.